So the New York trip 2025 came out of literally nowhere. It was kind of basically left as a surprise for a while. What if I told you that this trip almost didn't happen? That's right, we're going to be talking about the potential chance of this trip not actually happening in this Saturday Stories. Without further ado, let's get into it. Here's a little fun fact. Did you know that there was a potential chance that the Thousand Islands trip was going to return in August of 2025? And that's right, there was a potential chance that this was going to return again just like it did as a surprise in 2024. As you may have noticed, that never ended up actually happening. And instead, we got this. Basically, I had a major decision to make during this time. Basically, I had two options because unfortunately, due to me actually now having a job, I could only get so much time off. And sadly, I had to choose between either going back to the Thousand Islands in mid August 2025 or going back to New York for the New York trip in September 2025. As you can clearly see which one got chosen. But why exactly did I choose the New York trip over the Thousand Islands? Well, one of the main intentional reasons was because it was being done in a month that has never been done before, September, which is because we wanted to change things up again. Like I said though, because I have a job now, I could only get so much time off, meaning I couldn't get both time off. Trust me, I tried. I tried getting time off for both trips. Sadly though, they were way too close to each other for me to get time off for both. So I had to choose between the Thousand Islands and this New York trip. Again, the New York trip was chosen clearly because it was done in a time frame that has never been done before, whereas the Thousand Islands has already been done during the time frame that we would have done originally. Anyway, basically, yeah, basically, I had to choose this around a month ahead of time to both of them actually occurring. This was around early July, right before the Florida vacation happened. And I mean literally just a few days before the Florida vacation happened in July 2025. Basically, yeah. So, what this would have meant was if I were to have chosen the Thousand Islands trip, we would have actually celebrated the 9-year anniversary of Backyard Videos during the Thousand Islands trip, as it would have occurred from August 23rd to the 30th, but the overall trip from August 20th to September 1st. Uh, so yeah, that's basically what would have happened if I were have chosen the Thousand Islands trip. The Bag Reveal's 9th anniversary would have been celebrated here. As you know, that didn't end up happening. By choosing the New York trip for September, that gave us a new opportunity and a new perspective for this series in terms of being in this location. Specifically in a month that is normally never seen before, which is again what made me go with this trip rather than the Thousand Islands. Not to mention, we were just in the Thousand Islands just 1 year before this, and honestly, it was basically just going to play out exactly the same as that one. So, did I really want to repeat myself literally 2 years in a row? No, I wanted to do something a little different. So that can explain why I chose this. Overall, though, I will admit it was a very, very, very hard decision between these two trips because, first of all, they are both absolutely amazing things. The two trips are amazing. The Thousand Islands trip was already amazing in 2024, and I almost was going to consider doing it again, but once I realized New York trip was going to be in September this year to change things up once again, I could not miss that opportunity to do something like that. But again, I will admit it was a very, very, very hard decision to make. And I'm serious. I'm actually dead serious. I actually had to think about it for quite a while, actually, because, yeah, no, it was a very hard decision to make because I would have done both if, I actually could have. But again, with me having a job now, I can only do so much. So, yeah, and if I didn't have a job, I would have gladly done both. But sadly, with me having a job now, that is just not possible. So, yeah, I basically chose the New York trip because it was in a month we haven't done before, and we already just did the Thousand Islands literally just 1 year earlier around this time anyway. So, I literally would have just been repeating myself a year later. Yeah, that is the end of this Saturday's stories. It was a very interesting thing how we could have potentially went into the Thousand Islands instead of New York in August. Can you believe that that almost could have happened? Yeah, and then this whole New York trip in September would never have been a thing. Just think about that. Just think about that. One single decision could have changed everything. But I'm just glad I went with New York in September because, again, it was a brand new thing that we haven't done before. So, with all that said, thank you so much for watching. Like and subscribe, and I'll see you all in the next Saturday story on September 20th.